Hello everybody, this is Linda Israel and I want to share with you a mixed media art using fabric and paper and other miscellaneous items. To start with, I took my fabric and sewed it together in a pleasing pattern, and then I glued it to a piece of cardstock. There are other materials that you can glue it to, whatever you choose to do. And then I just started picking up some random pieces of other items that I had. For example, this leopard print fabric that I already had, and I had this fleur-de-lis that I had cut out from my Cricut, and I painted it black, and then I'm painting it with this port wine paint, and then I'm using my silver Lumiere paint to dry brush over the top of that as well to give it a little bit of a sheen to help match my project. I'll set that aside here in just a moment. With my project, I like to use Aleene's craft glue to glue down a lot of my projects. I'm gluing the fabric just a little bit because I do plan to sew in certain areas, and I just want it to barely stick, and I don't want the glue to be in the way of gumming up my sewing machine when I go to sew. When I buy lace, I'll buy several yards at a time, or sometimes even a whole bolt, so it just depends on if it's on sale and if I really like it. The clip art that I have is part of a collection that I have accumulated over the years. I've purchased CDs or DVDs, or I even purchase original clip art, and then I'll scan it into my computer. I'm distressing a piece of brown with some distressed ink by Tim Holtz. I'll use that to mat my photo. The paper that you see with the text on it is from an old Reader's Digest. The feathers that I have there are feathers that were given to me. I think they're either pheasant feathers or maybe even rooster feathers. I have several friends that give me all kinds of materials whenever they're cleaning out their closets or they come across a really good sale. My sewing machine is one of several that I have. This is one of the older ones, and I just have it set for zigzag to go around my project. And then I decided to sew down the lace so that it wouldn't flop around. Most everything else that goes on top of the lace will keep it in place. Because of the feathers, I knew that my image would be askew. It wouldn't sit flat. So that's why I put some dimensional dots or 3D tape behind it. And I thought this fiber was kind of pretty, so I thought I would use that as well. I just pushed them together and zigzagged over it so it would stay on the page. And then it got hung in the feeder foot and I had to cut it off. Sometimes working with yarns is a pain in the rear. I use a little bit of hot glue and a little bit of Aleene's. The hot glue will set up faster than the Aleene's will, so I can keep working on my project and I don't have to wait for the glue to dry. But I don't use hot glue solely because I'm always afraid that the hot glue will get warm again or hot again and then the art piece will fall apart. I have had that happen, so that's why I don't use just hot glue. I'm punching a hole in what looks like a little bitty measuring tape, and this is my Home Pro eyelet setter, embellishment setter, and so I'm going to set an eyelet in that. Many of you have other tools. This is just what I had because I bought it years and years ago, and it's a handy tool because it'll even punch through metal. The stamp that says Aspire to Be is from Inka Dinka Do, and it is a Dawn Hauser design. I like that little stamp. I'm just stamping it with some brown ink, and then I'm embossing it just to give it a little bit more depth and have a little bit of a sheen to it. And then I'm going to go over it with some of the corduroy distressed ink. I like tearing things. Currently, I don't know, gives it a little bit of a different texture in my opinion. Going around it again with some distressed ink. And then I was trying to decide which paper would look best. And I thought this dark chocolate textured cardstock would look the best. So I tore out matching pieces. Then I distressed the edges of that with the direct to paper with the ink pad. And then I use one of my favorite stamps from Stamp in the Hand. The Prima flowers that are laying there, I inked with the Adirondack sprays, and then I sprayed with my mix of Glimmer Mist, which is using acrylic floor wax and Pearl X, which is really cheap because the acrylic floor wax you can get for like $2 at Dollar General, and then Pearl X you can get in the powdered form at Hobby Lobby for $4, and if you have a coupon you get for even less, and it goes a long ways when you can put it in a spray bottle like you can pick up at a beauty supply or recycle a spray bottle that you might have emptied around the house. And I used some guinea feathers. Those are those little polka dotted feathers. Guineas are loud, noisy birds. Don't ever have any guineas. And I'm just zigzagging around those. And the reason why I know how loud guineas are, I used to live on a farm, and we had lots of guineas when I was little. Dad thought it would be kind of cool to raise guineas for a little while, but they are noisy. They'll make noise all the time. They're almost as noisy as having watchdogs. So finally one year he said, okay, I've had enough, and we ate them all. The charm that I have here had a little loop on it, and I decided I didn't want the loop because I didn't want to sew it down. So I used some really heavy-duty dikes to cut off the loop, and then I sanded the edge off just a little bit so you couldn't see the burr. And then I'm using some contact glue to help glue that down since it is metal and it's heavier. And then I put some hot glue down in the center to help hold it in place quicker. And then the final thing I will do, of course, gotta use my glitter glue to put in the center of my flowers. There you go. There is my vintage take of using some fabric and paper and feathers, a little bit of metal, and of course my glitter glue. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial. One thing that I'm getting ready to do that you may not know what I did on the back was I use mat board, and then I take a piece of cardboard, punch 2 holes, and I use some hardware that you can get in the wood department to hang it with. You can do other things, but that's what I do. And I'm just going to glue that to the back. Thanks for watching my video today. I hope it inspires you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. And have a blessed day. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.